Hello and warm welcome, the audience, to New Generation Women, and I'm Jeanine from Seenus. Warm welcome to the global online female story movement with women from all over the world sharing their stories, what's going on in their country, at work, and their families, and what's going on in them personally. I truly believe in the power of a real, good, true story. I believe stories are connecting us on a human and on a soul level, and thank God we do have internet. We still do have internet. Let me take the chance to apologize for all the switching of colors of my camera right now and the internet that is not as strong as it's used to be because everybody's at home and working. So any delay or any weak picture or unclear picture, I apologize for that. But I guess that's real. That's what we are dealing with right now. And I can guarantee you, we are making this up with 100% pure love. Our love warrior today is a wonderful woman and a soul sister at the foot of the beautiful, beautiful Rocky Mountains, Colorado Springs in the United States of America. Warm welcome, Tamara. Tamara is working as a consultant and coach and has founded her own company, Relevel. Her focus topic is change. How is Colorado Springs dealing with change right now, Tamara?
Oh, hello from Colorado Springs.
How are you now after you had fixed your tone for an hour, you had fixed your picture, I think you fixed your makeup also a little bit. So are you still fresh or are you completely worn out now?
Absolutely. I think there's lessons in all of this, don't you, in this disruption?
I'm done with lessons. I'm done. I'm so done. This bubble is just no more lessons. No more lessons, dear universe.
I love that. Yes, I've hit my maximum myself.
Well, my maximum is so reached. So much have happened. And the audience, I had torn ligaments while the whole Corona thing was starting to come up. I was on vacation. I was on this vacation for so many weeks. I found like, now I take vacation. And then this thing happened. So I knew I couldn't take vacation. In my business, everything is upside down. So when my torn ligaments happened, then I was like, oh, I'm really positive. I trained, I got this. And I was really positive, and a lot of stress went on because I was in Hamburg with my mom. I wasn't in Munich in my home. And then I had no car and stuff. And then, Corona, and every day last week came new news, and more horrible news. And my mom was like, it's a news junkie. And I'm completely the opposite. And my mom would wake me up in the morning and would say, did you hear about this? I said, Mom, this is a rule. Don't wake me up with any more news. When you come in my room and we see each other, let's say what our positive intention is for the day. Let's say, I love you, but don't tell me any news or what our Bundeschancellor say or not says. So then I was really on top of stuff. And then with a common friend, he said, I'm good. I said, I'm actually also very calm and good. But 2 days ago, oh boy, that's when I lost. I was like, no more lessons. My lessons I learned. So you are a consultant and a coach. You have founded your company, Relevel, and your focus topic is change. Well, perfect in quotes for this time. So how is Colorado Springs dealing with this big change, and how are you dealing with it?
Big news in Colorado Springs today when we heard the Olympics are postponed by a year in Japan. We're home of the United States Olympic Training Center. Yes. So athletes come here to train and learn at the high altitude. So that's an impact on our city and on business. And we have 5 military bases. So they're all deploying to areas of the state and the country that need it in the relief effort. So it feels like a very interesting time in the city. At the same time, I was just outside and everyone's out. It's blue sky and sunny today. And people are still able to go outside. So there's that all happening at the same time. It's a bit surreal. Sometimes it feels, you hear the birds singing and the animals playing, and it seems like everything's fine.
Yes, nature is fine. And I think what you also said, if you go out in nature, there seems to be such a peace and a calm. I went shopping today. Now, I didn't find that very funny because
yeah,
it is, yeah, I mean, it's really surreal. So much stuff is out. I mean, so much, not just toilet paper. We knew about that one, but now everything is not just spaghetti and rice and everything else that you can, put in your storage, but everything else is so empty. And I've never seen supermarket also, Whole food stores, never seen as empty as they are now. And then there's a tension in the supermarket. And I feel more like I want to protect other people, that I don't go into their space so that they don't feel threatened, because we have this 2-meter distance, stay 2-meter distant from each other. That's what they say in Germany. So, this, no, I'm too short. But it's like this much. So it's really a lot, really a lot. And if you say, and you want to pay, or if you stand, or you just, you're driving with your little car and you try to get it, you just bump into people. And people just really get tense and they almost get aggressive. So I really try to be mindful out of their sake, but I can feel the extreme tension and the aggressiveness in the supermarkets, no matter if it's Whole Food or if it's a supermarket that sells more cheap stuff. It's the same tension. What is in Colorado Springs, in your village?
Same thing. Yes, I was in the grocery store yesterday, and there's almost a look of a zombie. It's like very apocalyptic look. Like, no, I almost want emotion. Like someone to get angry, because there's the absence of it. I find equally disturbing.
Didn't see any happy smiling face today. Just one woman, because she was sitting there and she was working in the supermarket, and I saw her eyeshadows and I felt so compassion. And I thought, boy, she's not earning a lot of money. She's working in the supermarket. They have to work there. And it's not work like, you're not a doctor or not a nurse. So normally we applaud them. But who's applauding the ones who are working in the supermarket? And I had to ask her a question. So I kept the distance, but I really intentionally looked in her face and smiled. And she smiled so sweetly back. And it really touched me. And wow, but I didn't know what to say. And lots of people were queuing up. So how do you see, how are people looking? How are they smiling at each other? Is there still some interaction going on?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, because you look at other and it's kind of a mirror of yourself, I think. So I'll see tension in people's faces, and then I feel tension in my own face. And I think I'm holding that also. So I love your words, soften. The other day when I was in the grocery store, I just try to have a soft smile and carry through the store. And I felt better. And you're right. People respond to that. They see that and they respond. I mean, we're mirrors of each other. We have those mirror neurons in our brain. And they've done studies with babies, watching babies connect with each other. And if a baby's distressed,
that's true. I remember.
It feels the compassion in the other.
Yes.
And so I'm thinking like of that mirror concept. And I tend, when I go into a fearful place, I want to fix.
Yes.
I want something to fix. And I'll notice that in my work and my company. And can I tell a story?
Yeah, please.
Quickly?
That's what you're here for, to tell stories. Sweet, can I tell a story? That's a joke of the day. Sorry. Please go ahead.
Oh, no, we need to laugh, right?
Yeah.
So yes. I've talked with my hands, and I was just seeing my own hands. And the other day, if I'm not present, I'll get in the mode to fix things. And the fixer is very valuable in society. Like, I've had an amazing career as a fixer. But if it comes from a place of fear, then everything you're fixing has just a little bit of an element of fear in it. So you're trying to control something. So the other day, I was trying to get in that mode, and I was fixing things around the house and furiously cleaning, and I wanted to accomplish something. And I started looking at my hands, like all the chemicals and everything that I was using, the disinfectant. And The hands on my mother's side of the family are very distinctive. If you look for generations in photos, we all have the same hands. They stand out.
Just
And
show
all
them
this,
again. Yes. Okay. These are your ancestors' hands and your hands. So
yeah, I mean, in any photo, I know we're related because we have the same hands.
yes.
So as I'm cleaning, all of a sudden my hands, I see my mother's hands and I see my grandmother's hands. And I think of this generation of women who've dealt with uncertainty by fixing.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say fixing, I lean into it because I go out of center, out of my power and my own ability, my dignity, and
Mm-hmm.
I lean in to start to control things. And when I show up with that energy, like I did the other day, everyone in my house responds that way. They go on offense and they're either right there in there with me, or they go on defense and they're like, hey, stay out of her way.
Okay.
And through all my career, I've noticed, like, this is the learning for me. When we're small children, we learn to adapt to fear in a certain way. And I started to learn to fix things. I wanted to make things better. I wanted people to feel better. And as I was seeing my hands and my mother's hands, I thought, my mother describes herself that way. I'm a people pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
I will do things at the expense of myself to try to help people. And my parents were in the service industry. And I thought, how long will this continue when we're fixing from a place of fear and not from a place of love?
That is so good what you say. I mean, I'm just thinking about myself. Maybe I'm not a pleaser, but I am very loyal. I am very loyal to people.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would almost kill myself. And to say no to something when I have made a commitment to somebody is really, really hard. And also now when I feel I need all the energy for myself right now because I'm so overworked, and it just takes another 10 days and then I can breathe, hopefully. But it's very hard for me to not respond, to not stay. And I apologize 100 times sometimes if I say, can you do this without me? I'm sorry, can I just send you the notes? And I really have to pull myself back from the habit of apologizing 100 times for it, which is not very much in, you're very definitely in fear then. And I think a lot of women do have that, especially in this time, where we try to connect, where we try to lift up the energy. And I was thinking if this is more a gender topic, but I don't know this. I just see my partner. I visited my doctor today because of the ligaments. And with my partner, I said also the same thing to him. I said, and he would always give me some news or predict based on the news, what's going to happen in the stock market, what's going to happen in the economy. Nothing is sure anymore. And I would say to him, and I say it often and over and over again, but it's really hard for him to get it. And I think that he wished that I would just hear more information and news. And I say to him, please respect my space. I need to regenerate. I cannot have that because I can only care of myself and the people around me, and stay in a bubble or stay as present as possible and have more love in, and not go into fear news all the time. I will get what I need to hear. I know that. And I went to my doctor's, always positive, and he was so negative today. So what did he do while he was opening the door? He talked about, I don't know what we're going to, if you're going to see each other next week because it's going on and thing, and they have done, this is a budget they have provided for all self-employed who are out of work now. So this is not possible. So, and I thought, just stop hearing it, stop watching it. Wouldn't the world be better if we all would stop watching the fear news all the time and would retreat and connect back? And at least if we have not love right away, that might be way too far out, but at least stop and go back to neutral or to reset. How do you feel that? And is it also something that men right away go to? Women share their stories more, they're nurturing more, like at the fireplace, like our grandmothers at the kitchen table, and now we do it online? Or am I completely in wrong assumptions, and this is my own mindset. Fuck.
Oh, I don't. One of my friends recently, a friend and a colleague said to me, she said, I think women go to the well and men go to the cave.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was interesting. She said the well is inner, it's water, it's wellness, it's life-giving, it's community around the well. And men go to the cave. They recede, they have a fear of missing out, like of the news, of the information. Men want the information. And women want the connection with self and with other. That's how she described it. So I've been sitting with that. And my husband and I were talking this week. He said, you know, in some ways, I think men are lost. Like the fact that women will sit down together and talk about a confident, like a topic. This year, I've been doing having women gather around the topic of confidence and talk about that. And he said, you know, I kind of envy that. He plays hockey, and he says in the locker room, men wouldn't sit and talk. Oh, well, were you confident in that game tonight?
I can see that picture.
And he says it's interesting because he said, there's no role models for men right now. You know, as somebody who's really living that. He said, I don't know what that is. I don't even know. But he said, women are connecting in an interesting way right now.
That is so true. There's no role model right now. You're so right. And I'm sure they're out there, but they are not visible. And I think that's the point. And also this kind of security, having the more information you have, the more in control and secure you feel. Now, I've been on a spiritual path since 28 years now. That's a long time of training. And I'm sure you have that too, because in your words, I feel the wisdom. And wisdom can only come from learned experiences. Either you know because you're connected to a very different source that's beyond the human mind, and you have experienced a lot and learned from it. Now, I had a lot of situations in my life where my life was completely in zero suddenly, or in the open, or just things because of bad accidents or divorce, or just things were completely upside down and complete uncertain, or having to set myself up in no time as a self-employed when things got lost. Now I know how to deal with that. And maybe this is why I'm so calm, because it's just my job I've been doing the last years. And I think just the world, especially with companies, now you are also a company consultant, you have your company Relevel. What a perfect name again, as if you've been trained for this situation, and shows that on a deeper level. And I have very seldom, I have heard from big companies, not from startups or, smaller companies. I very, very rarely hear, I'm doing this because I'm so passionate doing this. Maybe in leadership, I heard that, but not all leaders would say that. Usually teams and employees would say, if they would meet me and being self-employed, and sometimes I had great freedom with that, so I had great phases with this, they would say to me, I'm a secure type. This is why I have a job. This I heard like 90%. I'm the secure type. I meet my monthly income. This is why I cannot do this. Oh, I admire you, but I never could do this. I need my job. So now we have a bunch of wonderful people who are devoted to their jobs, who have chosen the job very often because they're the secure types. Now security is completely gone. So I think that is one of the big shifts happening. You as a company consultant and working with companies right now, and also working in the healthcare system, what is your experience?
I think it's very similar to what you mentioned about life and all the different struggles that we go through in life. If a company has reached its pain point, then it's willing to do something to relieve the suffering. I work with a large government agency, And they've been all about security. People want a job in government because it is very secure and there's a good retirement, a good pension.
Mm-hmm.
But they were finding they were having a hard time recruiting people to fill vacancies. Like the older people were solid. And if you talk to them, they're counting their days until they're retiring, right?
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
And then this new life is coming into government because the younger generation does have this desire to connect with purpose.
Yes.
But then there wasn't a culture that would attractive to recruit or retain that workforce. So this agency, right before all of this started happening, actually reached out and said, we want to look at building purpose.
Mm-hmm.
We want to look at our culture and doing things a new way. Healthcare right now I work with a lot of healthcare organizations. There's no time to think right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's triage, it's crisis, it's getting through the day and getting the supplies and not even 30 minutes for mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking there'll be a pain point at some point there also, where there just aren't going to be enough well people working in wellness. At some point that'll need to shift too. I also work with retail and hospitality, consulting with hotels and tourism and restaurants. And right now they're trying to figure out, what do we do with our limited resources while no one can go out, and focus on relationship building, friend raising instead of fundraising coming in. And how do we give people opportunities for all this training that they never have time to do?
I absolutely hear you. There are people out there also. Our first story is with a healthcare professional, and she is, I know her from dance training, and we are always just having the fun stories, the joy stories. So I never saw her so serious and so overworked, and she takes it very seriously. You seem to be very calm. I mean, when I see you, you're always very calm. Are you this calm inside? How you deal with it? Do you immediately go into, what is my learning here? Any fears that came up or that are going into your life, but you don't attach to them so much?
I was thinking about that the other day. I feel very calm. Like I mentioned, when I feel stress, I'll want to fix something, but I've done so much inner work, Jeanine, on that issue that I know I'm going out of my ability to really be helpful, and that I need to create from a good space. So every day I start off with, a loving kindness meditation. I connect to those who I'm concerned about, who I don't live with, even the people I do live with. I think, how do I want to feel today? I set an intention, because that's always clarity for me. There's a lot of things I can do, and I don't necessarily get the essence of that. But I think, how do I want to feel today? What if my day just had 10% more ease in it? Like, how would that look different? And so I think when you've done the inner work, there is a calmness. And my logo for level is almost like a hurricane symbol. There's a dot in the middle that's green and vibrant, and there's a swirling around the outside. So in my work, I try to show up with that energy, and I try to help companies, like, let's be in the eye of this. Let's be the witness and watch what's going on. Because once you go into stress, it shuts down creativity, it shuts down innovation. And let's think about what wants to emerge and what's dying. It always happens in balance, right? And let's sit in that calmness of the storm, so that when we re-engage and the storm is coming through, we show up internally resourced to deal with that. Because otherwise it's just running around panicking.
If nothing else helps, and then sometimes I think, oh, don't get spiritual on me. Just not the time right now. I don't want to hear anything. You have those moments. But what always helps me is be very gentle with yourself, Jeanine. Be very gentle with yourself. And that is, for me, like, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to be better. I just accept what is right now and be very gentle. And that helps me through some very tense times to not having to or criticizing or judgmental, because I don't know how it's with you when you are in kind of, you catch yourself, you know, on top of things, you're criticizing yourself. If you are trained consciously, oh, I should apply this. Oh, I should have done that. Oh, I know better, and this doesn't work. So yeah, there are times that's then challenging.
Yeah, I like what you're saying when that should comes up. And this is emotion, right? And I love the root word of emotion. I mean, the Latin base of it is energy and motion. So you feel that I should have, would have, could have energy come up. And we need to allow that to pass through. Once you look at it and witness it and allow yourself to feel it, I think the Buddhists call it sitting in the fire. It really starts to break up. What worries me is I grew up in a family that's very resilient. So when emotion would come up, they would shove it down and say, I don't have time for this. I need to do something. I need to fix things. And so I think my father died when he was 47. I feel like he just always stuffed that emotion down and never honored that and let it go somewhere. So it just wreaked this dis-ease in his body. His body was not at ease because all this energy he kept putting back in. And so sometimes it's, and I know you do a lot of work with leaders in crisis communication, and I love what you say about authenticity, and sometimes it's okay for people to see that emotion. You can be calm and in control, but you can also be upset that something very difficult is happening.
Yes, I really got used to that. There was a phase in my life that I would always have a happy face, and at training they would call me the happy bear, and all kinds of sweet words. And I would also sometimes pretend as if, and sometimes the pretending was necessary, like when things were really broken open or when I felt, so that I could pretend as if, and then I could unwind at home and do my cry or whatever. And I felt that. But at the moment, I'm extremely honest. And also a common friend of ours, he asked me, I hope you're well. And I said, no, I'm not well at all. I will be, but at the moment I'm not well. I'm overworked, and I'm not good at this because I'm planned vacations for weeks, month. And this is actually would have been my vacation time. So I think it's really important that we allow ourselves the journey, because yes, there will come an acceptance in everybody, and there comes also an acceptance in me. This is what it is right now, Jeanine. But there is a journey towards it, and it might take a few more moments or a few more days until I really am honestly saying, I'm accepting it as it's okay now. And this is the authentic part that you're talking about. You don't have to dwell on it. And that's the difference between I'm dwelling, I'm going into it, I'm reading all the news, I'm making myself emotionally always into that fear, not vulnerable, but miserable space. Or you say, okay, I am there now. I'm seeing that I cannot go out, but I know I will. But for the moment, this is the journey. And there is always a willingness. So I love that from A Course in Miracles. It's always saying you only need a little willingness. And sometimes I could have thrown the book and thrown it against the wall and think, oh, that little willingness. I'm doing tons of work. Don't tell me about the little willingness, I'm willpower. I am it. And nothing is changing. So don't give me that shit at the moment. But
That happened to me when I read in A Course in Miracles, and it said, nothing is real. That is your lesson. And I wanted to throw it. I'm like, really? This isn't all real. Great. Like, it sure feels real. Like, give me something here. Give me some tools to help with that.
I so know what you mean. And I so love that everybody who is really into the Course in Miracles says, if you haven't thrown the book at least once against the wall, you haven't studied it. So I love what you said about fixing. That is really wonderful. I will never forget that. And also about mirroring with the face. So when I see somebody being tough, I think, oh, just loosen up your face. Just
soften the edges.
Soften the edges. Do your anti-aging work, Jeanine. Thank you so
good.
much.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much. I'm so happy we fixed the technical problem so that we could understand you very well. Yes, you definitely are a soul sister, and lots of strength to Colorado Springs, to your beautiful work, and lots, whatever is going to happen, lots of good energy to whatever we are going to do together with women. And you did it already last year, Women in Confidence. How much do we need this right now? Thank you for your beautiful work in the United States.
Thank you. Thank you for connecting women around the world and for your work. It's important.
Thank you. Big hug to you. And
much love.
Much love to you. Thank you so much. And wherever you are, dear guys, stay calm. I don't want to say be as joyful as possible, but be healthy, be safe. And this is our gym. This is our training the muscles to not go into fear. There's so much fear already, but to really spread the love virus, because love has an intelligence, and that's way beyond our human capacity and above and below it, expanding it. So let's trust that a little, give it a little chance that the love intelligence can take over. And I know it takes discipline. I'm not the role model today, I know, but I will be again. But it takes discipline to come back to love. And this is when we need it right now. So have a beautiful day. Tomorrow we see each other again. Then we go to Ghana, Africa, and talk to Eva. Until then, goodbye.